Gather around, everyone. It is time for a Nema story time. And yes, my throat is still jacked up. I am still sick, but I wanted to talk about this game a little bit and also just tell a story. Something that actually came up, and that's why I wanted to tell the story. But I wanted to talk about this first impressions or my thoughts on this game because I picked up this game, Byteland Overcooked, and it's like a 3D platformer, supposed to be like old school in a way, and I thought it'd be a great game to review, and I just never got around to it. I've had it for, God, like a month or more by now, and I just haven't been able to actually sit down and review it. So I thought I would just sit down and show you guys, like, what the game is like and tell you that, like, I'm very torn on it. I don't know if it's something that I would recommend picking up. It's fun at times, but also it's almost formulaic, and I don't know, none of the characters really jump out to me. Like, I know it's not gonna be like Mario or something, but it just doesn't feel like it stands out. And I will say too that this was one of those games that was like really hard to get into, like as far as story goes. In fact, I still don't really know what's going on. And I understand with a lot of these platformers, the story really doesn't matter. It takes quite the back seat. But anyway, I just wanted to show you guys some video of this game, see what your thoughts are, see if it's something you'd be interested in. I will say this, controls are pretty good, performance is also pretty good. Everything that you would expect it to be is decent, like, and that's my issue, by the way, is if this was really bad, I could at least say, no, this sucks, it's horrible, but yet, it's also not, like, really great. It's just kind of in the middle, and if I'm honest, I can't even say that I've played enough of it, or probably will play enough of it to where I'll be able to do a review or have some sort of final thought on it. So I just kind of wanted to get your guys' opinion, but also I want to tell you guys a funny story. As you guys know, I do every now and then like to let you guys in on my personal life a little bit. Maybe even too much, some people have said, but that's how it is. I am an open book. Anyway, this came about because I had forgotten this lesson and then learned it again when I saw this individual. I know I'm speaking cryptically, doesn't really make a lot of sense right now, but I'm getting to it. Anyway, so this story really starts when I was a teenager. I live in a very small rural town where, I mean, if someone has, like, even a girl at that time had had, like, just a streak of red in their hair, it was like, oh my god, it's Satan. Anyway, so me and my friends, we were in a band. In fact, our band was relatively successful for a teenage garage band. And, we kind of took most of our inspirations from bands like My Chemical Romance and Rise Against, Sum 41, even the Dead Kennedys a little bit, and of course going back into like Slayer, Metallica, and some of those older bands. But as far as look, we really got into like that groove metal or whatever, basically bands like Slipknot, Cold Chamber, dyed hair, piercings, tattoos, even eye makeup for some of us, and like myself, I wore fingernail polish, which a lot of people thought was super effeminate and everything. Although, to be honest, I have fingernail polish on right now because my daughter thinks that she needs to paint my fingernails. Anyway, when I used to wear it though, when I was in a band, it was because the black light would show it, and so I could see my fingers a little bit easier when I was playing guitar, and that was just kind of a trick I learned. But anyway, we were hated by most people in our town. In fact, when we would walk around town, which is kind of one thing that we did a lot when we were younger, typically we would have band practice in the morning, and then by like noon, we would just kind of walk around town looking for something to do. And one of these times, this kid that I went to school with, a very rich kid, he had daddy's car, and his buddy, who was also very rich, very well to do. Anyway, this incident still cracks me up. Anyway, so we were walking by a church, and it was one of those big, almost mega churches, but not exactly, but huge church. And I remember it specifically because my bass player was like pointing at the church and he was saying, hey, we should play there next. And at that moment, almost, it was like this car just came flying by us on the street into the parking lot, which we were right next to. They do this fast donut type thing, screeching the tires and peeling out and everything, pull up next to us, roll down their windows like they're gonna, I don't know, gun us down or something, and quickly out of their mouth, there they go, Marilyn Manson sucks, and speed off. Now, I'm going to be clear on a couple things. Number one, Marilyn Manson was old by then. Number one. Number two, we didn't like Marilyn Manson. It was the stupidest thing. And just the idea that they're going to say, oh, this band sucks, and then speed off like what we're going to catch them and be like, no, he doesn't. We love Marilyn Manson. Like, what was the outcome going to be for them? Well, unfortunately for them, the outcome was they sped off and hit a gigantic, well-built brick sign that was for the church. And yes, it was a very big brick sign. I swear it was one of the loudest things I'd ever heard. And honestly, I thought they were dead. I mean, it was crazy. But it was this moment that I learned that you will never be judged on merit or your actions. No, if people think you're weird or different, they will go after you. You see, apparently across the way, there was a cop who was sitting in a gas station, and he saw this whole thing happen. He comes speeding over with his lights on. He goes to the kids, pulls one of them out, which I don't think you should do anyway, and he just goes, what did they do? What happened? What did they do? And the church officials who were there, or I don't know if it was the father or whatever, I don't know. They came out front, they saw the kids, and they pointed at us. What did those kids do? The cop who saw the whole thing happen, he even said he saw us walking west, and he saw the car come flying around into the parking lot, pull up adjacent to us, also heading west at that point, rolled down their window, and then sped off and crashed into the side. Yet, for some reason, we were being apprehended. We were in trouble for causing the whole car accident to happen. Even though we weren't in the car, we said nothing, we did nothing, we threw nothing. Literally, we didn't even say anything because it happened so quick. We didn't even know what was going on. In fact, we were just kind of laughing because it was so out of the blue. Well, this is one of those things too where even my parents didn't believe us, and we actually had to go to court for this. And I wish I'd remembered exactly what the whole thing was that we got in trouble for. Now, regardless, when the judge actually saw this, he dropped everything, and basically, it became like a no-fault kind of thing or something. I don't actually know. But the thing that really irritated me was that my parents were mad at me because they had to pay for court costs and a lawyer. And this basically made it so my dad couldn't get a new truck that he had been wanting. So for like 6 months straight, I had to hear him always say, well, I go to work all the time and I can't even get anything I want. All I gotta do is worry about bailing out Johnny Cash over there. I mean, aside from being called Johnny Cash, which was kind of cool, but the thing is, I didn't do anything. And this really had stuck with me for forever, aside from just being one of the stupidest things I could think of. But anyway, a couple days ago, I'm at my new house, and I get a knock on the door. Guess what? It's the kid who's driving the car. I mean, obviously he's a man now and older, but my point is it was the same guy, and he became an insurance salesman. And he was trying to sell stuff to me and talk to me about these new opportunities. And I looked at him right in the face and I was like, so will it cover my house if someone drives into it? And at that point, I knew he realized, oh, that's who I'm talking to. You see, I don't look the same as I do. Yes, I have a green, well, actually turquoise mohawk right now. And while I'm just hanging out, I usually wear my glasses. I don't have piercings or anything like that in anymore. And so I look relatively normal, I guess, aside from the mohawk. But yeah, he didn't recognize me until that moment. And needless to say, I did not hire him. Although, part of me kind of wishes I would have. Because then I could have just called him, like, weekly and just asked him, like, hey, so would my insurance cover if I drove into the Starbucks sign? Just every week have something new to bug him about. Anyway, I just wanted to mention that to you because that just happened here 2 days ago, and I thought it was really funny and just something to mention, something to, a story to tell while you guys were checking out footage of this game to see what you think about this game. Let me know in the comment section below. Is this a game that interesting to you, or have you played it? I don't know, anything and everything, or if you can relate to my story or anything like that. I appreciate any and all of your comments. Again, I apologize for my voice. It sounds awful. Anyway, I love you guys. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.